as I mentioned, the alert detachment. There's a picture down there on the lower left of our airplanes when the Super Bowl was out here in Arizona. We had airplanes up. We were doing an airborne alert. And we had crews on alert for other incidences that might come up. We're so good at what we do, we've won 12 trophies for it. In 2009, we won the Air Sovereignty Trophy, saying that we have the best alert detachment that there was. And they are. These people are going through, once again, what you went to. Away from their families, living at the alert facility, launching at a moment's notice, and very well just responding to what they can. Also, we have Operation Snowbird, and this is also a Davis-Monthan. What we have is it's a little 8-acre piece, and if you have a chance to see it, well, the road curves right by it, and it's a weekend, so they won't be there. But what it is, units that have airplanes from the cold northern areas like Indiana or Minnesota or Vermont, they bring their airplanes out here in the wintertime, and they fly in Arizona, and they base out of here. And they're all Air National Guard Reserve units, so we actually have a place to put them. So we're the host for the warriors that come down from the north. Our history. Some of you guys might mention or might recognize this, F-86. Well, we had that too, back in 1956 and 57. We didn't have it in France, but we had it in Arizona. But we came down from the 161st, and when we did, we were a fighter group. We started off with that plane in 1956. We went to the F-84 after that, and then we went back to the Super Sabre, the F-100, from 69 to 73. All this time, we were still training students. In 1966, we went to the F-102 Delta Dart as an airborne interceptor squadron. And it was a good mission, but it wasn't actually our niche. We were more air-to-mud or air-to-air. And then they had the A-7, 1975. Many of you probably recognize that one. They had that out here at Davis-Monthan as well. And we were training A-7 pilots from 75 through 92. And now we have the F-16 Fighting Falcon. We started doing that in 1985. I still look at that airplane and realize that's a good-looking airplane. And it's 85, though. I mean, think how old it is now. But we're still flying it. We're still flying it, and she's still doing great. Here's our Tucson Air National Guard base. It's 93 acres just shoved on top of each other. It is not a big base at all. So we've got the main facilities down on the left-hand side. And toward the back, you can see the angle where we've got our 78 fighters. We've got our own POL, fuels. We're very much a self-sustaining base. Though DM is over here 7 miles away, and we work with them, we do not depend on them for anything. We're very much a standalone base. We work very well with the color guard. We work very well with security forces. We share a lot of things, but we are very much a standalone base, 7 miles away, hidden in plain sight. Unit Manning, we're a big base. We're a big base. When you think of Guard and Reserves, most bases have about 25% full-time, 75% part-time. We're just the opposite. We have about 152 full-time people. Well, we've got 255 AGR, which is active duty in the Guard, 635 dual status air technicians. That means like GS 12, 11, and all that. We've got 562 drill status guardsmen, which is the typical 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks out of the year. We've got state employees, civilian employees, and even some active duty on our base. And then at the 214th, which is the reconnaissance group, we have 175 people, and then we have 75 at the test center. So total, we have 1,700 people working on that 93 acres. We're packed on top of each other. The comparison of how we are to other units, a typical fighter wing has between 8 and 18 airplanes. We have 74. A typical fighter wing gets around 4,200 flight hours a year. We get 17,000. So you can see when we go places, people kind of, they have a little jet envy. Because we have a lot of jets. We do a lot of good things. International training, this is where our bread and butter is. It started in 1989 for the international, when the Netherlands came over, and they liked what we did, and we did it very well. So in 1989, we started training the Netherlands. In 1992, Singapore hopped on the board and said, I like what they're doing, so we started training Singapore pilots. In 1994, the SecDef, who was Sheila Windall at that time, said, these guys are doing a really good job. And she made us the official Air Force International Training Center for F-16s. And we have trained over 2,000 F-16 pilots from 28 different nations worldwide. Right now, here are the countries that we work with. The ones in white are the ones that we have out there right now, which is really interesting. Some of these countries won't come back, like Venezuela, but others, they'll be back. And the nice thing is, we have made friendships and partnerships with all these different countries. We've got the Netherlands there, we've got Singapore, Poland, South Korea, Japan, Denmark, Norway. We even have a contingency of Iraqi students over there right now. And we're training the Iraqi students to learn the airplane. Very different than what they came from, but that's very exciting that we're actually training the Iraqi students right now. Here's one of my favorite slides. Besides the pretty colors on it, what this tells us is where our mission and what we have done is far-reaching in the world. This is the big picture slide. When we train these people for the past 25 years, we are basically training the future leaders of those countries in the military. We are training the future generals. And we have friends in all these blue-marked countries. And it really demonstrates how we can make an effect on the international aspect of the world by knowing top leaders, top generals of all these countries. That is truly an exciting slide. All right. Why do we do what we do so well? Well, we've been doing it for 43 years. We've been doing international training for 23 years. We have excellent weather down here. We have a lot of these little airfields. And, of course, air traffic control. The air traffic controllers at Tucson and at Davis-Monthan, they do wonderful work. They probably know 34 variants of English based on our international students just trying to get through the English language. By the time they get here, they all have to go through English language school, and most of them are pretty good when they get here. The problem comes when they're not quite pretty good, but we work with them well, and the tower works very well with them. Experience. I like to think our pilots are better than any other in the world, and they are. Our average pilot has over 2,000 hours. We've got 13 fighter weapons school graduates. That's basically the Air Force Top Gun. We've got 13 of those that work with us to always improve. We've got people in our base that have been all over. Every contingency you can imagine, they've flown in. From Iraq to Afghanistan to Kosovo to Desert Storm, Desert Shield. We've all been there. And now we're here taking the lessons that we've learned into our new international students. And our maintenance people. The maintenance people we have are excellent. On the average, they've been working on these airplanes for 18 years. Now, if you worked on the same car for 18 years, you'd know that car pretty well. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. They know those airplanes inside and out. And we definitely have the best airplanes out there. And most of them have at least 15 years on the F-16. Now here's why everyone loves to come to Tucson for Snowbird and why we can train so well. This, besides being very busy, think of it as a local map. And those areas where the blue is marked is where we can fly without worrying about commercial airliners, little pilots, all that kind of stuff. We can take off out of Tucson and zip to the west for 250 miles and not worry about a thing. We can zip to the east 250 miles, not worry about a thing. Go up there to the east of Phoenix, we can do the same thing. We have altitudes from surface level to 50,000 feet. Basically, we've got the biggest playground known to mankind right here. And we use it. We use it to train our pilots, to teach them how to dogfight, how to teach them how to go from air to ground, how to teach them air to air. We use these, and this is exactly why Arizona in general has a very large contingencies of airplanes. Luke just got the F-35 fighter, and we're in the running for it. We might get it down the road, but this is the reason. And John McCain, as our senator, pushes very hard to always keep us on the cutting edge of all military technology. This being one of the primary reasons, because we have the room. If we were in Vermont, we sure couldn't fly 250 miles along the eastern seaboard without worrying about any kind of commercial traffic. So this is a big selling area. Diversity. Tucson is kind of a small town. It's a lot of people, but it's a small town attitude. And what we have here really represents what the town is. We've got different populations, Hispanic, white, African, American, Asian, and even Native American. And we consist of 78 male, 22% female. And in '09 we got the Diversity Award, which means that, we've really done this right. We've integrated people together, working together to get the mission done. So that's something to be proud of. And in today's military, as the young guys in the color guard can attest to, we are getting a whole lot more women involved in the military. And they are doing a great job. They are working with, you'll see them in fighter pilots. You'll see them on the maintenance line. You'll see them everywhere. So I'm very proud of how the women of today have really come out to the Guard and active duty and are playing a very important role. Community partnership. We work with the local community, as in our Air Guard base. We have helped them with fire, security, EMT. In fact, at the airport doesn't have any paramedics. If something happens at the airport, it's our paramedics that go to the airport. And we have a very large environmental section. If there's any kind of hazards or hazardous waste or anything like that, we interact with downtown in order to get these problems solved. Economic impact. We are big. 42nd largest employer in southern Arizona. We bring in a lot of money, $200 million and $280 million and 120 from the international customers alone. All those international countries that we're training, they pay for it. And there's our payroll. I'm just a small part of that. Mission outcome. Face of the USA to the world. And that's true. If you go over to the Netherlands right now, how those people see their pilots or how we taught them to be. How they think of Americans or how we taught them to think. How France thinks of Americans or how you taught them to think. And we're continuing that tradition on. We're developing strategic partners. We're building strong international relationships and based on performance, friendship, and trust. I would imagine that there's probably some of you out there that still keep in contact with people that they met over in France. We're doing the same thing. Summary. There we go. Dedicated to the fighter training mission of the world with proven culture of safety, customer service, productivity, and the ability to rapidly respond to any new mission. And we've done that. We've done that with the remotely piloted airplanes, the RPA mission. We've done that with the alert mission. We've done that with all the variants of F-16 that come out. We've done that with the ISR in the reconnaissance airplanes that have come out. So we have really kept our fingers in the pie throughout the Air National Guard and the Air Force. Questions? I love to talk. Do we have any questions? All right.